And welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Sabrina Stewart, for those of you that don't know. Here I am joined by Patricia Stewart, who works in corporate America, and this live stream is going to be about self care within corporate America. So, Mom, we're just going to get right into it. uh, what are some stressors and triggers that you go through within corporate America?
Well, just to explain a little bit what I do, right? Because there's different companies and different, that do different things. So my company, without telling you what company I work for, does clinical trials for big pharmaceutical companies, biotech companies. So we take over that process of clinical trials because we make those trials more efficient, and in the pharmaceutical industry, it's very important that you get your medicine to the market ahead of the competition. So the faster you can do a clinical trial, the better. And that's what my company specializes on. I work in contracts and proposals. So I'm a line manager there. And answering your question about stressors, it's funny because I started in that company as a contracts analyst, doing contracts, actually developing contracts, developing budgets, etc. And my stressors at that time are so different than the ones I have as a line manager. So it kind of changes, right? So as a line manager, my main stressors are when I have to do something in a small amount of time, right? That is a cause of stress for me.
Mm-hmm.
For example, right now I review proposals, and sometimes they give me 47 pages to review in 30 minutes, and that is so that's when I get stressed out, because I know for a proposal, if you don't send it on time, you lose your opportunity. So it's very
Mm-hmm.
important to be on time with the client. So that's when I get stressed out and I need to ask for help if needed. And in the middle of all this, I have a lot of people pinging me, asking for my help and interrupting my reading this proposal that needs to go on time. So that's a source of stress. The other source of stress is performance reviews. Like
Mm-hmm.
today, I had an opportunity to provide negative feedback within a performance review. So that was very stressful because I'm a very positive person. And, sometimes you'll get direct reports that tell you, well, I disagree, and they get very upset with negative feedback. So you never get used to that. That's a source of stress for me as
Mm-hmm.
well. Um, and just multitasking, being interrupted constantly, going from meeting to meeting, trying to multitask and being unable to focus on what is going on because you keep on, being pulled in different directions. So that's another source of stress. If that's what your question was about, Sabrina, is
Mm-hmm.
that what you were? Okay, yeah,
Yes, for
yeah.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
They're very different than college, I guess.
Yeah.
Different types of stressors.
How have these stressors affected your performance in the past in mental health?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that whenever I'm stressed, I'm slower, I'm less productive. I can make mistakes as well if I'm very stressed out. Um, and I'm just not as nice. I communicate with customers, with internal stakeholders a lot of times, with my direct reports. So I need to make sure that, I'm not stressed to a level that affects my communication with them. How I am perceived, how I come across. Um, so I need to be careful with that.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be cheerful. I need to be professional. So when you get to a level of stress that is too much, you definitely need to take a break.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. Um, so how do you schedule time for self-care?
I do. If I have a difficult call, I will go for a walk. It's good because my job allows me to be flexible in that respect. Anyone in my company can say, I'm stepping away for no reason whatsoever, and it's okay. It's acceptable. So all I need to do is send an email saying, I'm stepping away for 2 hours, I'll be back. right? So yeah, when I feel stressed, I just go for a walk, put my music on, and that exercise endorphins, so I feel much better after. I take showers. I mean, not that that's not part of my normal hygiene routine, right? But when I'm stressed out, I might take, a second shower, that
Mm-hmm.
day, or a third shower that day. Um, I like, and Mariana is laughing at the back. She's listening to our interview. I guess she finds it very funny that I take three showers. Um, and then, a bath, a warm bath is nice. And yeah, Mariana is complaining because I never do that. But yeah, I mean, it's a good thought, and those bath bombs that you got, last time, they're still there. So that would be a good thing. Um, I like to. I don't do it as often, but I have done it. A couple of times. Meditation. Chakras. That type of thing helps me calm down. Mindfulness. Practicing the now. The present time. I don't do journaling, but I hear from a lot of people that is very nice. It
Mm-hmm.
calms you down. But I don't do a lot of journaling myself.
Yeah.
I, I like just relaxing with, honestly, comedy. Just watching a show that makes me laugh. Definitely. I would say humor gets me. It's a little bit of self care.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, it makes me feel better. So just looking at Friends, or a show that I like that makes me laugh
Mm-hmm.
is a way that I take care of myself.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What would you say is your self care routine?
I don't necessarily have a routine, but one thing I do at the beginning of the day when I wake up is I watch gymnastics for 30 minutes before all my meetings, because you need to understand every day my day is full of meetings. It's like
Mm-hmm.
from beginning to, from what, 7 o'clock in the morning until 5 p.m.,
Mm-hmm.
all full of meetings. So, I just try to relax, have an activity that I enjoy, and I just watch gymnastics a lot of times, and honestly, I've watched this so many times that sometimes I fall asleep right away, you
Mm-hmm.
know again. So just because it relaxes me, it really does.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I do. I don't necessarily schedule it. Definitely, I should probably. The weekend I try to do something myself, instead of, I do a lot of taking here, taking there. Mariana, I need to take her where she needs to be, have to do groceries, so that's more for the house, but or the dogs, right? Take care of the dogs. But I try to do one thing. I don't know, going to the hairdresser. Oh, I think I.
You're back.
Okay, good, good. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm. What part of your self care routine is most important to you? What do you like doing the most?
um I like meditation. I like, watching funny shows. Definitely. I like, I don't know, watching interesting and spiritual videos. That relaxes me. Um, something about, self care, for instance, right? How to take care of yourself. I enjoy watching those videos. Um, I enjoy massages, so that is something that I cannot do on a daily basis. I like praying. Praying is a way to self care as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's dealing with your spiritual needs, right? So definitely, I self care by praying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
For
you
sure.
know, yeah.
How do you balance work and life?
That is a tough one. That is a tough one. A lot of times, work can take over, and you don't have time for your life. But as a line manager in my work, I emphasize to all my direct reports that they need to really stress their life. Their life is very important. I mean, you spend 8 hours of your day at work at the very least. In my case, I spend more than 8 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you need to be in a job that you like, for one thing, right? If you hate your job, then you're spending half of your day at work, right? Because you have to sleep 8 hours. So balancing that, right? Having fun at work, making sure that you like the people that you work, but at the same time at 5 o'clock establishing that you're gone at 5 o'clock. You're not going to stay. It's very easy to get sucked up into meetings. My company is global, so we have some meetings with Japan at 8 p.m., right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we have to do it. It's emergencies, but it can be routinely done, if that makes sense. You need to establish your boundaries. This is my life, and my life at work ends at this time, and that's when I start having my life with my family.
Yeah.
And myself, right? So it's establishing that, definitely. So it is difficult, honestly. I work at home. So since not that since the pandemic, before that, I used to work at home. So it's a choice that I made, but it is difficult to make that stop at 5 because you are at home. So it's very easy when you're at the office, you know that you're going to have to beat rush hour and you have to leave at 5 and all that, right? But when you're already at home, so sometimes you want to cross that line of staying until 6 or checking your email at 8, right? Because you have your computer right there. So it's a lot of control, and just telling yourself, okay, I can do it tomorrow. There's still work will be there tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And letting those emergencies, yes, you need to show up, but that's how I balance work and life. I think I just cut it off at 5. Very strict on that. The other thing is when you're on vacation. In the past, I used to bring my computer and check my emails all the time, and spend my vacation pretty much a quarter of it working, right? I changed a little bit. So I do bring my computer. Unfortunately, I haven't changed in that respect, but I try to keep it as 10 minutes if I'm going to, check my emails. I just check for very urgent emails and leave the rest for later. Because vacation should be vacation.
Yeah.
That's your life, So, and there's a reason why it's called vacation. You need to cut off from work to recharge, right? If you're going to be working all the time, then there's no pause, right? To your work. So it becomes a little bit overwhelming. So anyway, yeah, I mean, it is hard to balance, but that's what we strive for in my company. Actually, we push for work-life balance. And the thing is that me as a manager, I cannot ask my direct reports to balance work and life if I don't do it, if I don't give that example. So they can tell me, hey, you're asking me not to work at 8, but I see you every day working at 8, right? So you're sending emails at 1 o'clock in the morning, so why are you telling me to balance life when you don't, right? So as a line manager, I have to give the example, have to be a role model. So in a way, I'm pushed to do that.
Yeah.
So it's good.
That's
it's a good thing. Yeah.
So what does self-care mean to you?
Wow. What does it mean? It means feeling, having good mental health, feeling healthy physically. So to me, self-care is taking care of 3 things in your body: your physical condition, your mental health, and also your spiritual health. So it's 3 things, right? Mind, body, and soul, right? So you have to care of the 3 of them. So when it's self-care, I mean, you can go with okay, I take care of my body by taking vitamins, by exercising, right? So you can approach it that way. And mental health, well, I do meditation, I do journaling, etc. But I think at one point everything comes together. And exercising can help your body and your mind, right? For one thing. Praying can help your mental health. So it kind of it's all connected, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it means for me, making sure that you don't get stressed out, that it, affects your life and it affects your work as well
Yeah.
at the end, right? So, some level of stress is okay, it's inevitable. And if you can convert that stress into adrenaline, then your performance goes up completely,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you just need to make sure that you don't have that negative stress
Yes.
that will affect. I mean, we all know that stress causes illnesses as well by weakening your immune system, right? So you can get sick as well
Mm-hmm.
by stress. So it's very important that you reduce that stress, that and self care, when you cross that line with stress, right? Then you can become depressed, you can become, anxious, right? So it becomes a bigger issue
Mm-hmm.
than just stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot.
no, it's good. It's very
I don't
good.
know if this is what you wanted, but
Yeah, it's good.
hmm
Why is self-care so hard to practice sometimes?
hmm because of time, I think. When you're at work, there's a lot of priorities, a lot of urgencies, and you just think, okay, I think is wanting to perform well, and that leads to your feeling well. So you think, okay, if I perform well, I'm gonna feel well. I'm gonna be doing some self-care, right, by itself. But that's not true. You get burnt out
Mm-hmm.
eventually. I mean, at the beginning it might be true, to progress in your career, it might be true, but eventually you're going to inevitably get burnt out.
Yeah.
So you don't want that, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I deviated. What was your question?
Why is self-care so hard to practice sometimes?
Yeah, it is. And that's why, because at the beginning you're trying to climb, in your career, be promoted, and, you don't really see the benefit of, self-care, right? You just continue, and you go, well, I'm young, okay, I feel stressed out, but, I can handle it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
um, and then eventually you get burnt out, and it's a big problem because it
Mm-hmm.
can affect your performance, etc. So self-care, every day is very important. Looking at those triggers, looking at your stress levels, being aware of where you're at with different things, with
Mm-hmm.
your mental health, etc.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of occasions, actually in corporate America, where people don't realize they're going downhill, mental health wise, and then it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
Then they have to be, go to a therapist, and and even get hospitalized, right? Because they didn't realize, what was happening with them.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't act on time.
Yeah, for sure.
So it is very important, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And in corporate America, it's important for productivity. I mean, I think self-care makes you a better employee
Mm-hmm.
eventually. It's important to be healthy in the three aspects, right? Your body, mind, and soul, because you can become a better worker. You can be more productive, more efficient, do things quicker, things with more quality,
Mm-hmm.
and faster.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely is important, and there's a benefit to a company to support that for its employees.
Mm-hmm. What do you think you need to improve in your self-care practice?
Hmm, well, doing it more often, I think, just making sure that maybe I schedule it more. As I said, my morning routine is more, watching a video, a gymnastics video, but maybe I should be doing more. Okay, I'm going to do baths every two days, and, schedule it a little bit more. I'm going to do meditation on a daily basis, that type of thing. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to exercise. I'm very sporadic. I go for walks when I need it, right? But I don't necessarily schedule it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think just getting into that routine, drinking water,
Mm-hmm.
not that good in that.
What are some common misconceptions about self-care?
Hmm. Misconceptions about self care. I think the misconception is that it takes a long time, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that you don't necessarily have the time to do it, and it'll take a while. Like, for instance, exercising, right? You go, well, if I go to the gym, it's going to take, at least 15 minutes to get there, then 20 minutes to exercise. So it's a full hour, right? And then I have to take a shower. So we complicate it a little bit. I mean, if you work at home, it just takes 10 minutes to go and walk and then come back and then continue working.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be as easy as 10 minutes. you know uh, there's short Zumba videos, that you can just take. You don't have to spend an hour. So that's the misconception, that I think it takes a little bit of time,
Mm-hmm.
that it needs to be, I mean, yeah, that's all I'm going to say. I think that's all that comes to mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the last question.
Okay.
Where were you in life when you realized that within self-care lay so many of the answers you were seeking?
Where was I in life? I think it was last year now. So my whole life I've been not self taking care of myself. No, I think it was. I would say it was in the last 5 years. I mean, it was pretty late. I'm not going to lie here. I used to just not have that work life balance at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I became a line manager, I realized, that I couldn't continue. It was not sustainable.
Yeah.
No, I was probably going to crack at some point. So I needed to, with more responsibility, right, comes more stress as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you need to take care of yourself a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I realized that I needed to establish that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
For sure.
yeah.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed this little live stream. Thank you so much for joining me, Mom.
Of course.
Patricia
Of course.
Stewart. So
Of
yeah,
course.
we're gonna end
And
this screen recording. Do you have anything else to say about self-care before we leave?
well, everyone in college, please do it. I mean, it is important, as early as you can start, doing your self-care, because once you finish college and you go and work in a company or independently, whatever you want to do, it is going to get worse if you don't start early. You can get sucked into work, work, work. I think the U.S. is a culture of workaholism, I guess. You just it's a culture that values work, but can be excessive at times. So if you compare the U.S. with other countries, we don't get a lot of holidays, as compared to Europe, for instance. So yeah, it's a lot of work. So you need to find time to care, take care of yourself.
Yes, for sure. Well, thank you, Mom. We're gonna stop.
Okay, sounds good.